Hello everyone. Now you will hear a short retelling of the movie Road Adventure. Enjoy watching. Barry is conducting a tour of the university. He has been studying here for the 8th year, but he knows practically nothing about the educational institution. But he knows one cool story that happened right here. His friend Josh Parker has not parted with his girlfriend Tiffany since childhood, and in adolescence the friendship developed into a relationship. But after school, they had a difficult test, a long-distance relationship. Josh went to the universities of Taki, and Tiffany went to Austin, Texas. They promised to remain faithful and talk on the phone every day. But now Tiffany is already clinging to some guy. Fortunately it was just a nightmare. George immediately dialed his girlfriend, but she is not at home. Then he sat down in front of the camera to record a video message for Tiffany. His neighbors Barry and Ruben are making fun of him. The latter keeps a python in the terrarium and he does not give the strange Barry peace. He really wants to feed the mouse to the predator, but it's too early. Josh is late somewhere and asks his friends to rewind the tape and throw it into an envelope. Running Josh was stopped by a blonde named Beth and invited to a party. A bespectacled man is watching their conversation. It's Jacob and he's been stalking Beth for a long time, which pisses the girl off. It turned out that Jacob was not even a student, but a teaching assistant. After the lecture, he runs into Josh, saying Beth is not free. The professor warns Josh that he needs to pass the exam for a grade of at least 4. Not lower than AB+, Jacob clarifies, otherwise he will lose his scholarship. Al criticizes Josh's long-distance relationship, especially when he gets the attention of a hot babe like Beth. A separate conversation was honored by Josh's sausage, who complains that she has not been allowed into battle for 2 months. Tiffany's neighbor is already sick of Josh constantly calling them and being rude to him. The guy is worried, not Steve, they haven't talked for 3 days. Josh came to a party where his friends were already having fun. The central event of the party is the auction. Any guy can buy a society of girls who participate in the auction in the form of a lot. The initial bid is $5. Beth saw her stalker and turned to Josh for help. He has to outbid Jacob, though the guy is broke. Bidding for the blonde has begun. Josh quickly deflated, he has only $26 in his wallet. However, the host Al helps a friend and just pretends not to notice the rate increase from Jacob, and then drives him out of the party altogether, because the bespectacled man is not even a student. After dancing a little, Josh and Beth ran into the room. The guy claims that Tiffany left him. Apparently that's how he interpreted the fact that they hadn't spoken for several days. Beth will be happy to comfort him. And she also came up with the idea to shoot their pranks on camera. In the morning, Josh came dancing into the room. "Why are you so cheerful today? Friends are interested." Josh talks about it, but the guys don't believe him. The maximum he could squeeze her. It so happened that Josh can prove it and now the guys are determined to watch this hot homemade video. However, on the cassette, instead of strawberries, they found previously recorded messages for Tiffany. And this means that Ruben today sent Tiffany a tape on which her boyfriend is having fun with BT. Just then Tiffany herself called and left a message. It turned out she hadn't called Josh for so long because her grandfather had died. She will return to uni on Monday. It's not fair. She'll see this tape, but we won't. Josh has 3 days to drive 1,800 miles in time to get to Austin and intercept the tape. To do this, he needs a car, and Kyle, the ever-embarrassed, lanky DRWCH, has it. George lies to a naive guy that he just wants to hang out with him. Ruben will also go on a trip, but Barry will stay. He has never left the city in his life. But tomorrow he will finally be able to feed the python a mouse. In the car, Al began to calm Josh down, saying he wasn't really cheating on Tiffany, it was just physical contact, and spiritually he was with his girlfriend. And it also doesn't count if you were completely drunk and don't remember anything. Kyle also has such an example. If you buttered your eggs and let the dog lick. Friends almost threw up. When Barry was mentally preparing the mouse for death, Beth came into the room. "You're too early. Feeding tomorrow. That's when you come. There will be a sea of blood." Beth was upset to learn that Josh went to his girlfriend, because they kind of broke up. The idiot messed up and said the guy went to Boston, not Austin. Kyle was divorced not only for a car, but also for a credit card. They use his father's card to pay for all their purchases. The trip was relatively quiet, but the guys decided to shorten the way and suddenly ran into a destroyed bridge. It will take them 5 hours to get back, so Al suggests jumping the river. Kyle is against it, but of course no one listens to him. Reuben, after making calculations, confidently declares that they will jump. To convince the blonde man surpassed the river and his grub finally finished off half of the bridge. Well, we'll have to accelerate more. The guys buckled up and Elle gave gas. After speeding up, the friends still flew over the bridge, although they destroyed the wheelbarrow at the same time. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. My father will kill me when he finds out. The guys moved away from the car and argue that it will take a maximum of half a day to repair it, but then the car exploded. Meanwhile, Beth followed Josh to Boston. The four of them spent the night in a motel. It turned out that Kyle's card limit had already been exceeded. He and his father have a common account, which is why the man could not pay in a cafe. Immediately, a cop ran up to the table and reported that his son's abandoned car had been found. Kyle himself has disappeared somewhere. Al went somewhere to get a new transport and came across a parking lot of school buses. The receptionist is blind, but she understands perfectly well what is going on around. The rest of the guys went to a local cafe to have breakfast. Kyle asked to replace his croutons, because they are sprinkled with powdered sugar, and he asked without. The cute waiter promised to sort out the problem. In the kitchen, he just licked the bread, and then threw the food into his underpants. After a walk, he took out crumpled toast and returned them to a satisfied customer. But another thing. As a result, Al stole a bus for the blind and their journey continued. When Al was driving, Kyle asked him to stop to pee. Al laughed and refused. Kyle didn't object. Al teaches him that you need to be able to stand up for yourself, and Kyle explains his robe with the fact that he was raised by a very strict father. Barry told the mouse what was waiting for her and threw it to the python, but he didn't care about the mouse. Josh called the professor, but Jacob, who pretended to be a teacher, picked up the phone. The student asks for a postponement, and the scoundrel lies to him that he will be able to take the exam 3 days later. Kyle's parents saw what happened to their son's car, and Beth had already made it to Boston, not Austin. There is also a girl named Tiffany Henderson studying there, and Beth decided to personally tell the student that the guy is cheating on her. Without listening to the rest, Tiffany immediately got up and began smashing her boyfriend's car with a bat. When he ran up, Tiffany beat him severely.
And who is it? This is her boyfriend. Well, I'll show you now. Is that her boyfriend? He cheated on her.
Beth realized that it was better to get out of here. At night on the bus, some pervert tried to lick her toes, and then offered to massage her feet.
My God, are you at least one normal guy in this world?
A disappointed Barry persuades the python to finally finish with his food, but in vain. Reuben promised his friends that they would be able to spend the night in the dorm of a fraternity in which he allegedly belongs. But here's the thing, this fraternity is only for blacks and they will not be released from here. Suddenly, the hood of the Ku Klux Klan was found in Kyle's bag and now he must die. The poor guy lost consciousness, and when he came to, he found out that it was such a joke. To recover, Kyle swelled up, then danced along with the guys from the Brotherhood. What kind of bunny is he? Rhonda checked out the Driska. Kyle confesses to the girl that he has already had an intimate experience, but never with a person yet. That same night, he and Rhonda found themselves in the same bed and the girl taught him everything. The next morning Kyle felt like a real man. He even kept a trophy for himself. What the hell is this? Did you skin a cheetah or something? Reuben informed his friends that they were running out of money, for this reason they looked into the sperm bank. Ruby disappears because he took drugs. Like Kyle, who had a fun night. The nurse gave the remaining patients folders with photos and cups. But Al asks the woman to help him in this process. The lady pulled on gloves and warns that she will perform prostate stimulation. Because of the sandal Ella 2 fingers in the ass. The guy definitely did not expect this and coped very quickly. Desperate, Barry decided to show Python by his example what to do with the mouse. At that moment, Beth came into the room and found out from the cretin that Josh had actually gone to Austin. A pleased Jacob also showed up here, saying that Josh would not pass the subject and would drop out of college. At that moment, the snake finally attacked the mouse, swallowing Barry's hand at the same time. After trashing the room, he threw the python away and it clung to Jacob's throat. The students will spend the next night at the house of Barry's grandparents. Meanwhile, Kyle's parents burst into the motel where they checked in. The shaggy guy froze from the Earl, but after using force he told everything he knew. We managed to find out that the guys called Austin twice. Alas, the guys did not have time and Tiffany had already received a package with a cassette. She and her friends are going to watch it now. When Beth appeared naked in the frame, Tiffany threw up. Fortunately, it was another Josh's nightmare. Finally, on Monday morning, the four reached the university in Austin. In the dorm, Josh turned to the administrator with a request to give him a package in the name of Tiffany. However, the guy is not going to break the rules. Kyle decided to run over him, but got in the face. The dude turned out to be a fighter. While his friends are holding him back, Josh dived for the package, and Kyle grabbed a fire extinguisher. At that moment, the dorm security ran up with pepper spray. Earl also burst into the building and immediately pulled out his gun. He was sure that his son had been abducted, but Kyle tells him that he was just having fun with friends. Tiffany also came to the dorm. The situation escalated when Kyle demanded his father to shut up. Finally, the guy decided to stand up for himself. When the complete chaos began, Tiffany ran into the room. And not to say that the girl is very happy to see him. She reviewed their relationship. She wants variety and new acquaintances. Then Beth called, who also decided to clarify the relationship, and at the same time to inform that Josh has no delay in the exam. At the same time, Tiffany started watching the tape and it turned out that at the most interesting place, Barry recorded over himself and his ass. On the way back, Josh tells his friends that he and Tiffany have decided to separate. The exam starts in 46 hours, but Josh doesn't know anything anyway. He will have to take ancient philosophy. In this matter, Ruben is a specialist and promises that he will have time to prepare a friend during this time. Josh was an hour late, but there was still no exam. Someone reported a bomb planted. So the guy was able to safely pass the exam with the others. After that, Beth admitted that she was the one who called about the bomb, so that Josh would definitely have time. Josh passed the A-level exam. Jacob created a religious cult, but it didn't end well for him. Ruben brought out a revolutionary brand of grass, Al got himself a nurse girlfriend. And Kyle has a complete understanding with his father, he introduced him to his girlfriend.